So up to this point in this series, we have done 3 different versions of making a whipped sugar soap scrub or a soap base using soap, cold process soap, as the base ingredient. And that is a way to do it. Yes. Today, we are going to completely shift gears and we are going to make a soap base not using anything even remotely involving soap. But it is another way to make a whipped sugar soap scrub, and a pretty foolproof one at that. And I will tell you more about that in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things. And you are here for day 350 of 365 days of soap. And today is part 4 in a 6 or 7 part series of whipped sugar soap scrubs. How to make them, what they are, the importance of all the things, the chemistry behind all of it, and all of this to give you information and help guide you on selecting which whipped sugar soap scrub you like and you want to use and or sell, and all the different ways that you can accomplish that. And today we are going to be shifting gears a little bit, and we will be dealing with a completely surfactant based soap base. And so this is going to be the easiest and best way to absolutely dupe your Crafter's Choice, your Stevenson's, any whipped soap base that you may find on the interwebs. Because if you look at the ingredients list, it's all surfactants. There's not a single, sodium cocoate or sodium palmate or whatever. It's all surfactants based. Now, the first 3 methods are actually more complicated. Making a whipped sugar soap scrub from a soap is a more complicated process for a lot of reasons. One is the pH of the soap, which we really haven't gotten into a whole lot because when you are creating it and putting the glycerin and everything in, the pH tends to balance out to what it needs to be anyway because of the solvents. And so we haven't really talked about that a whole lot. And also that's pretty advanced information if really what you're trying to do is just figure out the recipe that will work for you the best, first and foremost. But 2, creating a foamer from a soap base, like an actual definition of soap base, first and foremost, can be kind of complicated. Surfactants are not complicated in creating a foaming product at all. And so that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to give you a recipe for a foaming soap. And I don't know if I'm actually going to turn it into a whipped sugar soap scrub. Maybe I will. I don't know. But I'm going to give you a recipe for that. And I'm going to talk to you about why I don't do this ever, and it actually doesn't have anything to do with me not wanting to put sodium cocoa isothalonate on a label. So let's get to the video and we can talk about that all, there. Okay, a whipped foaming sugar soap scrub recipe. And yeah, that's a misnomer because there is absolutely no soap in this guy. So, but that's not the reason I don't make it. And actually, now that I'm looking at this, I don't think I gave you the recipe. I don't think I filmed that. I know I put it in the Discord. Okay, ready? Here. The recipe is as follows. 20% H2O, 25% glycerin, 20% cocoa mydopropyl betaine, otherwise known as cocoa betaine, 30% SCI, otherwise known as sodium cocoyl isethionate, and 5% stearic acid. And what you're going to do is you're going to mix all that up. You're going to put it in your crock pot. You're going to heat it all up. You can use the powdered version of SCI, or you can use the noodle version of SCI. Either way, doesn't matter. You're going to heat all this up so it dissolves in itself and the water and the glycerin and all the things. Do you need to mix it after you do that? No, sir. No, sir, you do not. Can you? Yes, sir, you can. You can. This is like the most simple recipe ever for just like a Puron surfactant. It's guaranteed to bubble. It's going to be a good time, whatever. So let's talk about the why in the recipe first before we talk about the why I don't. For the SCI, which is the bulk of this particular recipe, it is a surfactant derived from coconut. It is stable at pHs of 6 to 8. It is anionic, which means it is negatively charged. It will hydrolyze if it is in a pH range of less than 6 or more than 8, which means break down in water. Speaking of breaking down in water, it is water soluble, but it really does need a good co-surfactant in order for it to get its most potent, foamy awesomeness. So that is the reason for the cocoa betaine in this. Cocoa betaine is also anionic, right? No, it's not. I'm lying to you. It's amphoteric. So what amphoteric means is it is both positively and negatively charged. So like polar ends there. And that's what you're going to find in the majority of your surfactant-based shampoos and soaps. Now with an anionic, that means, negatively charged, and that's what's going to exist in most cleaning products in your home, as well as most soaps that we make via cold process. It's kind of a combination of anionic or amphoteric for the most part. Just for funsies, since we're talking about all the ions, cationic, that is going to be a positively charged, and it is really used in disinfecting products more than anything else. And non-ionic, which means no charge, which usually means it's the least effective of all of the surfactants because it's not doing a good job breaking that surface tension one way or another. So you're removing debris and whatnot. But because it's negatively charged, you are less likely to get like soap scum and stuff from that. And so that's why it's commonly found in things like laundry detergent, your dishwasher detergent, which, makes it seem weird because you're putting those dishes in and it's like, oh, it's the least effective at actually breaking the surface tension and removing grime. Yeah, it is. But also in both of those instances, it's going through rather long cycles of usually hot water. So in both laundry and dishwashing, it's fine for those purposes, but not really fine for the purposes of cleansing your skin. Anionic can be good for cleansing your skin, usually is. Sometimes you experience some skin sensitivities with that. Cationic, not really good at cleansing your skin at all. Amphoteric, again, it's good at cleansing your skin. It's the most stable with the positively and negatively charged, and it's also the most gentle. So there it is. So you have the amphoteric for the cocoa betaine, and that will be a co-surfactant for the SCI to really boost the SCI's properties, one, but to help ensure that the pH of this entire solution does not fall below 6 or go above 8. So, as I said, you mix all this together, you melt it down, and then you are done. Oh, yeah, the stearic, right. So the stearic is the same thing that it has been in everything. It is the stabilizer for all of this within the solution. And it does, I guess, sort of act as a surfactant-ish. I don't know. I got beef with that. I don't know. Okay, and so there it is. It is all done. It was all heated up. I then moved it to my KitchenAid there with the intention of whipping it up to show you and make stuff out of it. And then I realized I really didn't want to. I just didn't want to. So I just let it sit on the counter. Did not mix it up. And this is what it looks like. It's a nice cohesive solution. If you want to go ahead and just do your due diligence, yeah, whip it after you've melted it all down. That's fine. But then you can go ahead and just put that in a container after you put in a preservative or before. Here's the thing about the preservative. It is, I think, necessary in something like this just because, well, because the pH can be a little bit different, sure, but more importantly, because we don't really have any soap that's going to be disrupting any sort of water weirdness with this. So, as I said, I think you should put preservatives in all of your whipped sugar soap scrubs just because of where they're used. Not necessary if you're doing it from a soap base, but for this one, I would. And so that's why we were talking about pHs of all of these things and what the SCI is stable in. And so selecting preservatives. Well, you're going to want to select a preservative in the range of the pH of the end product. Now, this end product, actually, I just double checked and ran it through a pH meter, and it is coming in at 7. So there you go. And the other whipped sugar soap scrubs, tested them for funsies, the ones that we've made out of the soap, and that is coming in at a 7.4. And there's a whole field of study out there that thinks everything you put on your skin and or hair or whatever needs to be slightly acidic because the skin is slightly acidic. I understand the logic there, but I am more akin to the other school of thought that says it's not about the pH of the product so much as your body's ability to, your skin's ability or hair's ability to recover from the shock. Because actually getting a shock in cases of wanting to cleanse things, good idea. It's what you're going to want to do. And so I don't hate that these are, above the acidic range, but it's coming in at 7. So you could use anything that falls within that pH scale. Optifin is between 4 and 8, pH between 4 and 8, but that is really the best in oil-based products, so I would not use Optifin. Phenonip, pH ranges between 3 and 8, and it is good in both oil and water-based products. And Germabin, same thing. It's between 3 and 7.5, and also good in both oil and water products. I am talking about all of this in a broad term and just kind of giving you 3 because while I think you need a preservative for this, the preservatives that you choose are actually very, well, first personal based on what you do or do not want, like a formaldehyde donor, those sorts of things. Also based on what you can get in your area. Also based on what your formulation, reasonably is. For this, I did use the Germabin for all of these products in the making of all of these at 1%. And Germabin, Phenonip, and Optifin are all preservatives that can be used between 0.5 and 1% of the total weight of the actual solution before you put the sugar in, which is the one difference that you're going to have to keep in mind when figuring out a whipped sugar soap scrub. The sugar doesn't count. It's the other stuff. Also, look how beautifully that bubbles. Isn't it delightful? Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a great bubbler. It'll be awesome in whipped sugar soap scrubs. I don't buy it. I don't make this because it's expensive. That's the only reason that I do this. And I like the ability to customize more with the with going with the soap route. And also I make soap and not surfactants, so that also kind of makes sense. Now, this is the first one that I did. So you can see all of that, the very first recipe that I've made in this playlist. We're going to test that one again. But anyway, yeah, SCI, it comes in at like $11 a pound. And Cocoa Betaine, I think, comes in at only like $3.50 a pound. But if you were to swap out a surfactant in place of SCI to be a co-surfactant, like an SLSA, for example, first, I've never had great luck with SLSA in this particular solution. it just, I don't know, it seems to make everything soupier than normal. And it's already kind of a soupy product. Like all of those foaming bath butters are always really soupy. So I don't like it. But number two, it's the most expensive out of all of the surfactants at like 14 bucks a pound, I think is what I last priced those at. So I don't particularly use this recipe because I, again, make soap and it's pricey. So that's the whole reason. But if you're okay with both of those things, this is easy peasy to make a whole mess of all of your foaming, soapy delights. Yeah. And there it is, an easy peasy, lemon squeezy surfactant soap base. Why so many surfactants, how, and the point of all of them. And yeah, I didn't make a soap scrub out of this because I don't want to. But I did find actually a couple tubes of some whipped sugar soap scrubs that I made look like my batch date is from 2019. And so this did just solidify it for me. We will have a part 7 testing all of these together at the same time. So same video reference for that. And I will include this because I did make this out of a surfactant based base. As I said in the video, the real reason why I don't do this is because it's expensive. And that's why you pay what you pay for your foaming soap bases, you know, wherever you're getting them, because surfactants are pricey. And one of the points with doing the soap paste video series or whatever a year ago at all was to give you more cost-effective options while all of these prices were rising, and they're continuing to rise. So that's why I don't do it. It's not because I think it's going to be irritating or bad for the skin, because it's not. In most common applications, it's not. So it really does have to do with the price point, because if I am paying a crap ton for a completely surfactant-based product, I then have to pass that cost on to my end users. And I like being cheap, like continuing to have products that are really reasonably priced. So that's why I do it this way and create it completely from scratch without the very, very expensive surfactants. If you want to do it this way, again, it's easy. There's no real mixing involved. You can mix, you cannot mix. As I showed you, I just melted everything down and then poured it into a thing. You saw what the lather is without the sugar, and I will show you what the lather is with the sugar in a video at the end of all of this. So there's that. It's a good recipe if you're interested in it and you don't mind the extra cost, for sure. But if nothing else, this is a nice refresh on all of the different surfactants, what they do. I know we have talked about surfactants and, you know, anionic and cationic and amphoteric and all the things before, but if memory serves, it's been like, I don't know, maybe mid-year 1 since we've talked about surfactants. So it's been a while. So nice refresher, for sure. I hope you guys had fun today. Hope you learned some stuff. I am really glad that we were able to do this, for sure. Thank you for being here, for joining me. Obviously, a big special thank you to my sudsers, because you guys are amazing. Thank you for being so. For the Discord sudsers, this recipe is in the Discord, in the channel of the whipped sugar soaps, all the things. So if you want to try your hand at this, do the thing. That's absolutely awesome. For the rest of you, you know, I hope you caught it all in the video. Yeah, for the next 3 videos, we will be focusing on troubleshooting your whipped sugar soap scrubs, both from the soap paste version and from in the actual making of the soap, like it's already whipped up and you need to adjust it on the fly, as well as how you can turn any whipped sugar soap scrub thing from actual soap, be it paste or shreds, you get it, into a foaming whipped sugar soap scrub. And then the 7th video and all of this will be testing them all of the ones that we make together in one video. So you can see it and see which one you like. And also it'll give us a nice opportunity to see how they sort of mellow out after they're poured or piped or, you know, whatever, because this one has been around for several years at this point, but all the other ones that we have made, they've been around for like 2 weeks at this point. So that's good. So we'll do that. That's a good idea. I will film that right after I'm done with this. But thank you so much for being here, for joining me for another round of 365 days of soap. I'm out of here for today, but I will see you all again tomorrow for another round of soapy fun. Bye.